Peace and blessings, family. Sister Angelie, it's been a while, huh? Oh, first, thank you everybody who supports my work and buys the soap and all the products on 25000yearscycle.org, where you will get your healing done. That is, so head on straight over there and then come on back and listen to how Theyre Doomed. Now, by there, I also have to apologize for any noises you hear. I wonderfully live with an amazing family. So everybody's home, even though I haven't done any shares in a long time. I always prefer a house filled with the people I love. So that said, and you'll hear those noises every now and then. When I say there, I mean if you're a devil. I don't qualify that as it has to be absolutely every single white person out there. No, not at all. There's some white people out there who are really doing their daggone best. If you're one of those, then I don't mean that you're doomed. However, as a demographic, there are behaviors that historically have been proven to just be segmented to that demographic of society, with even the good ones tending to want to overlook, hoping somehow or another that if they just pass the evil doing on to the next generation, sooner or later they're going to be able to escape the retribution. And they're also doing their daggone best to pass the blame so they can put the anger of the common white person on to black us. You might have a slight chance of finding good ones, but there's not a single white person out there that is good for you, black you and me, in determining and gaining our right to be an independent, sovereign people. I always say, they would have to be perfect in order to warrant controlling our destiny. It's not a matter of we have to be perfect, because ain't no sovereign nation out here that doesn't have crime. And so this accusation that, well, what about black on black crime? What the hell's that got to do with us having a right to justice? When you have a people in charge who demonstrably can't stand us, let alone even their own, they are not arbiters of anything that would resemble justice. That said, please listen to the whole share, because I haven't been able to come up here and just, let you know what's going on for a bit of time. I've been writing diligently. That's been fantastic. So I'm grateful that that has kept me off of social media. But at the same time, oh my goodness, have I got stuff to talk about and share. Woo! Get ready. Listen to the whole thing and donate. Definitely. I have to emphasize that so people know that when you do stuff like I do, you need some help. So let's get to it. This is the Pacific Ocean. I can't say it is the Mediterranean or any other large body of water anywhere on the planet. They can't say it either. It's been glowing. I thought by now it had stopped, because they keep it out of the papers, out of the major headlines. Because they don't want people to notice that ain't nothing like this ever happened before. And that's why I say that they are doomed, because they hide reality from everybody as if we're all just lemmings and we have no capacity to just sever the tie, the hypnotic tie, where they think they're a snake charmer rather than the snake itself. They think that they've snake charmed us into just sort of going along with our own obliteration, when they're the ones who keep categorically proving that they're doomed, not us. right? Because this whole everything, existence itself, it is Allah's. Use the name of the Creator that you have been righteously guided to embrace. And I put my emphasis on righteously, right? Calling him Lucifer, Baphomet, or Satan, or whatever the heck, that ain't righteous. And you know damn well it's not. So this is, it happened way back in 2018, and they finally got it out in the papers. And back then it was a 15-mile stretch of California's coast. They say they're back, but actually they just move around. It depends on these zooplankton creatures that are bioluminescent. And so the width, the length of it can also vary. I don't know if this is increasing, but I do definitively know that it was never there before. So this is an article from February 14, 2024. And yeah, this is Torrey Pine State Beach on February 12, 2024. Ain't going away. And this article explains just really basic science about it. But one of the features of this is that the zooplankton, they're not the phytoplankton. Different thing. Phytoplankton produce oxygen. Zooplankton suck the oxygen out. And if the phytoplankton are dead, which they are creating a positive bacterial form or life form in the ocean waters, they produce the majority of oxygen on our planet. And they've been so devastated that the zooplankton have been able to come in and take over. I'm sure you've noticed all of the different red algae blooms going on all over the place, and a lot of the zooplankton will create that same phenomenon. They also create toxins because they're just like having harmful bacteria in your body that makes you sick. It's creating toxic hormones that are not conducive to our life forms, which are supposed to be beneficial also. And so what makes this absolutely strategic is in terms of the sea moss and how they have specifically, at this point in time, I really don't know who informed who about eating sea moss, but looking at the history of these dudes, I'm beginning to fathom that they've been planning this eradication of black us for a very, very, very long time. And they sort of guessed that the sea vegetation would, well, they didn't guess, they just knew, looking at this Maris map here, which shows all the tests that they've done, many of them from like decades ago, 1970 and 1971, the sampling year. They found cesium-137, strontium-90, plutonium-239, and plutonium-240, well before Fukushima was, in my firm conclusion, deliberately exploded. And so there's no place that you could get sea vegetation which absorbs tens of thousands of times more radiation that's in the surrounding water than you can find if you test the water itself. There's also other like physiological reasons why that's the case. Water is highly reflective, so you might not be able to discern with your equipment, your testing equipment, exactly how much radiation is there, but doesn't matter. The sea life is going to absorb far more, and it's going to go up the chain because the little fish are going to eat the phytoplankton. The whales are going to eat the phytoplankton. The whales keep on dying. And it's going to move up the food chain. So the more carnivorous you are, meat eating you are, the more radiation you're going to absorb, because you're not only consuming everything that creature you are eating ate over its entire lifetime, you're consuming everything it ate that also absorbed the radiation over its lifetime, because it doesn't matter. You could have a family member who passed, or ancestor who passed 50 years ago, if somehow or another they got contaminated with radiation, the same isotope, if it's re-released into the environment, it's going to be just as deadly. Radiation is billions of times more deadly than the worst pollutant out there ever. And these devils use obscuring language in order to hide exactly what they talk about. I verified that in all the books I've read, and the specific one was Behind the Fog by, I'm thinking Rosalie Bertell, but it wasn't. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen who was the author, so you get the books yourself. I'm not trying to like have a monopoly on saving your life, okay? That's up to you. And so just, leave the sea moss alone. There ain't no daggone place you can go on this planet that is not contaminated with man-made radiation. What I've said before is that Fukushima is such a huge hemorrhage into the environment, and there's Japan right over here, that it's been quite the aberration, obviously. So these dudes are racing. They are racing to obscure the fact that they have no more time. When you have glowing oceans, and I thought by now that they would have found a way to repopulate that area with other bacteria. I'm sure they're working on it strenuously, because I saw this article. I was like, oh man, 6 cutting edge technologies that could reverse global warming. There, you know what? The ice caps are melting. The mountain ranges are losing their snow caps. Things are heating up. The weather is getting frantic, but it is nowhere near what they are accusing it of being, climate change, because when they introduce that, they think on a very linear level. And thereby, they just introduce climate changes. First, they had, it's going to be global warming. Then it was going to be, there's going to be an ice age. When you don't explain the origin of all of these different changes in our environment, that's why you can't explain it. When you have a glass of water and you put ice cubes in it, the ice cubes at no point in time get colder, but the water does. But it doesn't even evenly distribute that coldness. It'll happen, especially if you have ice cubes going into like chocolate ice cubes, or coffee. You froze some coffee, you'll see it swirling in little currents into your other liquid. That's what's happening with the radiation and the effect. All isotopes are going to emit waves of energy, either beta or alpha or gamma, and then there's microwaves, which microwaves are vastly less destructive than man-made radioactive isotopes. By billions of times. I've shown that graphs, I don't know how many times. And so all that energy is heating up the planet, even to the point where they depicted tritium as if it was no big deal. And that's a total lie. There's also different kinds of tritium, just like there's different kinds of iron. They were feeding pregnant women, I think it was at Johns Hopkins, but don't let me bash Johns Hopkins as deadly a place as that is. I'm just saying, they were feeding pregnant women radioactive iron. It was an element that it reacts, it responds, it has the characteristics of iron. Your body recognizes it as iron, but it has so many extra ions in it that it's just popping off these particles until it finally decays into another element. When they say the half-life of a radioactive isotope, what they mean is long enough for half of that substance all pulled together to lose its signature just characteristics as what it was, and then it'll just decay into another radioactive isotope. All right, so yeah, they're just like half-lives, full liars. 6 cutting-edge technologies that could reverse global warming, from dumping whale poop in the sea to engineering clouds that block out the sun. Which one I'm fascinated by is dumping the whale poop. They're talking about artificially created whale poop. Nobody wanted to eat those damn poop burgers that I understand were formulated in Japan, where they were just, what can we do with all this waste? All right? And so they got their friggin' solar geoengineering, which they started because all of this is goddamn hot. It's all hot. That's why they got the chemtrails going on, because they knew we got to cool stuff down when they were first finding out ways to kill everything with radiation. So my original point was that, yeah, they've known for, oh my goodness, shortly after they split the atom, Ernest Rutherford, they knew, like, whoa, okay? And so that's why they chemtrail. And that's why we need to dim the sun. And they don't say why. They just it's just climate change. What? Cars? No, that's not what is causing such an increase and destabilization of our environment. Hey, here's another. They want to brighten the clouds over the sea. If it's all about the cars, why you got to concentrate over the sea? Because as I showed you with the Maris map, that's where they found all the radiation, because all nuclear reactors have to be on right near a source of water. Fresh water, primarily, because otherwise there's a whole different destructive can of worms that get opened. And so they have to pour all that dead water that they fry to pieces, irradiate to pieces, back into an open water source. And that's why a lot of them, it just gravitates out into the sea itself. And so marine cloud brightening, where clouds over the ocean are injected with tiny droplets that make them brighter and more reflective. Does this sound desperate to you? Yes, it is, for a reason. For a reason. And so this one here, I was like, saving the planet with whale poop. Are you kidding me? No, they're not. They're doomed, okay? An experiment using artificial whale excrement aims to suck up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere thanks to phytoplankton. This is so cockamamie backwards. The phytoplankton are the creatures that already suck up the ocean. This is just basically an admittal on their part that there are no more phytoplankton out there. If it's all CO2, then the phytoplankton are the creatures that would be producing the oxygen to balance it all out. Right? But they're not there anymore, obviously, because the creatures that are toxic, that are acidic, the algae, are coming in to a predominance so that they could light up a freaking ocean unlike any place else on the earth. So what this does is it repopulates the ocean with a variety of macro and microbiotic life forms. And I'm sure that they're hoping that will be sufficient to stop this. So these dudes do their best to hide and fool everybody about what is coming directly in massive numbers from the radiation. All these other things, they're just like, okay, let's try to deflect. Let's try to deflect. So doctors spot mysterious fentanyl exposure syndrome in babies that causes deformed heads, conjoined toes, and rocker bottom feet and fingers. This is what they do whenever they want to hide something, and they find other ways to explain it. like
God,
all
it's on
the
fire.
737 planes.
God.
They're like, oh, we got to take them out of commission because they just haven't been working. But hell no. I have a whole section filled with all the planes that have gone down over the last like 5 months. This 5 months. This is the list with, unfortunately, all the dead people. I have up top a whole nother list that's called bird strike, because I know they're going to try to use planes getting struck by birds as the next excuse for everything. But these are just like massively unusual occurrences up in the air. Pilot forced the parachute out of aircraft before crashing a block of flats. I shared the picture from that. Terrifying moment. Power bank explodes on plane, sending flames and smoke through cabin. There is a phenomenon that nuclear bomb blast that's high enough up in the atmosphere can cause a EMP, electromagnetic pulse, that would fry out instrumentation. It doesn't have to come from a nuclear bomb, because radioactive isotopes are constantly emitting electron along with the waves. They're just everything that's in them. It's unwieldy. It just flies on out and destroys the electrical systems of whatever it happens to run into. It's like, an electrocution, electrocution. And so that's what's going on. And as far as all the people who are losing their minds on these airplanes, I'll show you another story. Let me do that right now. It's the zombie deer disease. I've shown the pictures of the incredibly mutated deer out there. And they're just trying to find ways. They even just put out general warnings to white hunters to not go out there hunting these creatures, because they're foragers and they are down in all the muck and mire where the radiation, the particles would gather the most. So they're eating it, they're becoming mutated, they're becoming diseased. And now they got this, the zombie brain wasting disease. It makes them go a little bit mad. Scientists fear 100% fatal zombie deer disease is evolving to infect humans in forests across America. I ain't even gonna get into that, bunch of folks walking through the forest. But here we have the killer disease leaves animals confused, drooling, stumbling, and listless. It sounds like they're passengers on some of them 737s. But as I was saying, is not just the 737s going down, it's mostly those private planes, because that's what radiation does. It tears stuff apart. Just article after article. It's crazy. So these folks, they know. During the Obama administration, this is 7 years old, not older than Fukushima, okay? But I'm just saying, you don't have to use that as your yardstick. It's just that it's such an aberration. It shines a terrible light on why they're doomed. Because during the Obama administration, let me read this little bit here. Senior Department of Energy executives, several of whom were acting Obama administration appointees in roles that normally require Senate advice and consent. The unentitled snakes of Americas already is gone, is kaput. It was never anything like they like to dream it was. But what we're looking at now, forget it, okay? Made decisions that pause unique research into the biological effects of low-dose radiation in the United States. And so they want to say, no, it's like what's in a banana. They had to ensure that they didn't find out, it is billions and billions of times worse than the little low amount of radioactive potassium in a banana that your body has been made to recognize, so that if you take in too much, it's going to off-gas the extra. Literally, right through your pores. It's going to woof, bye. But not with even radioactive iron. Those pregnant women, they studied them babies until they dug off-limits graveyards for them. So that's why they got to come up with all these different excuses. And I think when it comes to some of the fentanyl overdoses, I'm beginning to think that might be deliberate on somebody's part, because they send little satanic warnings out all over the place to the folks dumb enough to sign on board. And, it's not going to a coven. It's just, trying to get out of jail free with the FBI or CIA. Yeah, sure, I'll start a channel. I'll name it after some black person who was unjustly murdered for whatever reason, if they didn't do anything or threaten anybody, right? I'll name a channel after that person. I'll do this, I'll do that. You're an idiot, okay? You've become a part of the Satanists. It is what it is. And so, yeah, with the babies, no. And then they also will try to make it all cute. I adopted a magical little boy who has newly identified fentanyl exposure syndrome. Oh my goodness. After being born to drug addict mom at age 2, he can't talk and needs to feed through a tube. I ain't making fun of that. That's horrible. I'm glad the baby was adopted, but please don't make it seem as if it's cute. We're supposed to fight the devil, not sit back and just be hypnotized. It's okay to be genocided. No, we're not supposed to go along with that. We're supposed to fight in the way prescribed by the one and only. Vengeance is his, because as I say, they're doomed. They're doomed. Can you imagine if we did something like this? Oh my God. Now I know there's a difference between us and every other people on the planet. They will make stereotypes up about us. Like right now, they're making up the one that we are the biggest woke freaks out there, and hell no, we aren't. That's why BLM did a nosedive. And right now, they had to pull out a biracial chick in order to front BLM, because the regular, real, genuine black people, they were like, broken. They were really just into the money of stuff. They didn't understand the devil at all. But they still have enough of that melanin that they're like not genuinely evil. I'm not calling all biracials evil either. I'm not calling all white people evil. But if you participate, and biracials tend to be so hungry to be seen as just as white as all the other white people, they'll do ill 500 times worse and know everything that is going on. I'm just saying. They got this chick coming out there now. They got to put her in the headlines like she's just the wokest being out there. And that something about, I forget what she said, is racist, and it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But at a point, George Soros' money was not enough to help BLM. Right? So when it comes to the whale poo, I was also found it interesting that they suddenly had these giant sewage leaks from the, San Francisco Bay Area. And I also believe from San Diego, they had raw sewage in the bay is not okay. But I'm thinking it's like the whale poop, where they're like, how are we gonna fix this? They still can't. It's still glowing. These dudes are having parties because there's rich white people out there who, I'm trying to assess the size of this whole satanic infestation. It is very comfortable relying on popular ignorance, especially amongst white people, and their fear. This is not anything we can change. All the prophets have tried, ain't worked. I'm just saying, There are rich white people out there because they get in their little putt-putt private planes and they don't know a damn thing about the Wigner effect. And they just keep on crashing and crashing, billionaires dying. Right? And whole families, rich as rich could be, just going down, gone. Right? So they got to figure out a way to help them feel more comfortable. Just like with the friggin' fentanyl babies. I adopted a magical fentanyl baby. Right? How to take this obvious aberration of enormous proportions in as if it's, oh, we're so special. I heard one description where they said it's like a watery glow stick. Like, what the hell? So they're actually, because this phenomenon will move up and down the coast and nobody knows where it's going to be. You'll have some freaking idiots who are standing on the beach waiting for the glowing ocean and they won't see it. They won't catch it. So they've gotten the same zooplankton in little bowls and jars and things, and at this what's the name of it? Aquarium of the Pacific, night dive spotlights glowing bioluminescent waves, and they'll have gatherings. The beautiful electric blue glowing water can be tough to track in nature. Almost impossible, I would say, except it's because it's never been a phenomenon before. Right? And they get together at the night dive event. These guys are idiots. They're idiots. And so I also was looking into when there was a mysterious, that word, oh boy, they love that word. Perplexed, baffled. That's what all their scientists say. So the mysterious red glow over the Pacific Ocean, Dustin McGard saw and photographed a mysterious red glow. He was just a pilot flying his plane, and he was 31,000 feet up, and he saw this. And they're pushing the whole alien crap right now. We don't have to worry about no damn aliens. I'm not saying whether there are or there aren't. In my estimation, it'd be kind of weird that there weren't, but in what they're doing, where they have aliens going to meet up with white congressmen? What? Them the dumbest aliens in the universe. You gonna go to the devil? You must be the devil too. But no, if there's aliens out there, they're black us, all right? But that said, I ain't worried about them. They had this red glow going on. These are just them out there testing because the water's dead. So these are from 2022, and that's because they're doing their research without probably with just like probes in order to determine what exactly have we done. Not us, not black you and me. They want to blame us, like with the AI. Oh my goodness. I've seen all these different sites like Daily Mail is so racist. Oh my God. Are they ever a satanic news site where they are all going, oh, the AI is showing all of the European royalty is black and Elon Musk is black. And I'm like, so we developed AI, we own AI, and then they got us all like with wokery where I put a comment, I'm like, yo, we're not woke. Black people aren't woke. We're described as homophobic. Now all of a sudden we're for every single perversion and the castration of children. That's why I know more than likely they are going to try to get Michelle Obama all up in there with her husband, who just nixed any word, any warning about Fukushima fallout whatsoever. They're going to get her up in there when she celebrates the castration of children. Okay? And I know she would probably say, well, no, not children. Then what are you grooming them for? If not physically, eventually that's the goal. Right? And so these folks, yeah, oh boy. So when you see these things, unexpected death rates in the U.S. are rising alarmingly, then you know what the hell's going on. They have allowed all Fukushima food in, but all the food. I remember the reports about this one. Nuclear fallout is showing up in U.S. honey. Decades after bomb tests. Decades. When it only takes one atom. So they're setting us up big time. We've got Hillary Clinton out there. Climate change targets pregnant women. And then they'll just say, oh no, it's the fentanyl. Or they'll just say, yeah, now, oh, it's the climate change why your baby came out like that. I bet it is. I bet it is the climate change. I bet it is. I bet it is. And now they got Rachel Levine coming out saying, ooh, climate change is disproportionate impacts on black people. That's so they could hide the results of us eating sea moss. Even though we, more than any other demographic, did not get that jabadoonie. By vast percentages. We didn't get it. Give yourself a hand, black people. That means that they have to make up more excuses in order to convince you. Oh no, the sea moss is good for you. The free rice from Fukushima is fantastic for you. Okay? These dudes know what the hell they're doing. This from a website on Instagram, World Economic Forum. Good Lord. The U.S. startup plans to grow vast amounts of kelp, then sink it to the bottom of the ocean. What? Running Tide aims to remove CO2 from the atmosphere. What? Why would you need to remove CO2 if you got ample phytoplankton out there? As it grows, it absorbs 20 times more CO2 from the atmosphere than land-based forests. That's because most of our oxygen comes from the oceans, not from the forests, even though the forests are critical, but we'll still suffocate if all we have is the Amazon rain jungle. After many months of growth, the kelp sinks to the bottom of the ocean, along with all the other radioactive isotopes down there and all the dead things down there. For every single dead creature that washes up on the shore, there's 10 to 20 others that never get to wash up on shore. Okay? I'm just saying. Sequestering the carbon it has absorbed for at least 800 years. You're going to need a little bit more with that plutonium, which lasts for upwards of 470,000 years. And then the depleted uranium, which lasts for upwards of 4 billion years. And now I'm going past the half-life lie, all right? And possibly for millions. Okay, all right, I'll give them that. They put that in there. Along with their hiding their doom. It's over. Whoa, I don't care what they do, because when you go this far, there's going to be warriors out here like me, like Dr. She, like so many others who are going to say, wait a minute. I know they shadow ban their voices, but these people be working. They be working to warn us and save us. There's something to this. And that's what they fear. They fear a population that is going to just grab data, right? That's right, in front of our faces, that they put out there, that they try to put these, like, really? You remember how bad Google used to be at shutting us up? Well, as I say, with fentanyl overdoses, I think they're sending out a strong message, because these elites, they don't want to be doomed. They are. This is, as I said, it's like Copernicus or Galileo on trial. And there was no way to stop the real data from reaching the deepest, darkest portions of their cave ways of thinking. Well, that's the era that this is right now, where all of their industries are dependent on lies, on evil, on cruelty, that is even wiping out their own. And they're twisting that so that you got friggin', middle country white dudes swearing that somehow or another everybody's coming for the white people, when no, that's not what's going on at all. Ain't nobody targeting you with stereotypes that lead to depopulation and extermination. Ain't nobody out there shipping you massive tonnage of sea moss and free rice from Fukushima. Right? And changing everything so that people could then, so much. As I say, I haven't talked in a while. But this map, which was from Daily Mail, or the American Cancer Society, was showing where all the new cancers were. And then further down, they were showing that back just about when Fukushima popped off, they wanted to say that California has such a big population. That's why they had so many cancers. This is just from 2016 to 2020. What happened here? Right? More people leaving California during this whole time than are going on over there. That's what all the immigrants are about. Cash and envelopes, how the U.S. and UN are funding the border crisis. These people are out their freaking minds. Literally, the UN is shipping money to these places, and they're just handing the cash over to all those migrants who, that's why they come in here, because otherwise, who the hell would want to come on over here? Right? And they're making sure they get the most depraved. They need help, but we can't help them, okay? We can't help them, right? Folks to come on over to take advantage of actually good people who just want to get the heck out. And Africans, when I saw the Africans coming, I was like, how the hell are they coming up through Mexico? What? Right? He's giving a card. Just get the cash. And then Eric Adams, all of a sudden, you need to give them cards too? Set them up in hotels? This is orchestrated because regular people here in the States, they ain't feel like having no daggone revolution, right? But they're doing the same thing they did with the first immigration wave through Ellis Island, where these people didn't come here and make a fortune. They went straight into the slums. And then they stoked any friction they could so they would come on over and riot on black you and me. That's what got rid of all of our black towns. Okay? Ain't nobody going to tell you this stuff but me and Dr. She. That's it. It's crazy. It should not be that way. I'm working tirelessly to change that. And I need your help to do it. Share the warning. Hit like. Share the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Please leave comments and donate. And you don't have to donate. You can come on over to our shop and you will find all products that will absolutely heal you. Absolutely heal you. Along with the blogs. I'm not kidding. I'm like, I can't believe that people are afraid to be old. I'm having a ball because I'm eating and caring for myself in a manner that keeps my vitality going. You don't ever have to lose that. But you can be hypnotized by a bunch of devils who depend on our sickness in order to make a dime. And they will never tell us crap. They'll actually build whole psyops, global psyops, to maintain their control when it's over. It's just over. It looks real pretty. It's pretty out into here, but I'm just saying they're done. Hallelujah. Woo! Straight black pride leads to our forever when we build healing black families. Peace and blessings. I love you.